Let's make wine with stuff we bought at the grocery store. We have here, what is this, like 3 pounds or something?
We weighed it at the store.
We weighed it at the store. Now that's 3 pounds, including stems, seeds, and all. And we need to wash these. That's the first thing we gotta do.
Do we want to weigh them just to make sure?
We have a scale. Look at that. I didn't realize we had a scale handy. 2 pounds, 10 ounces. So we're both wrong. So 2 pounds, 10 ounces of grapes. The grapes are going into a colander. I don't need that anymore. These need to be washed.
Stems and all.
Okay, the grapes are washed. But by washed, I mean I went to the sink, I ran water over them, and I kind of rubbed them around a little bit. We just wanted to get, you know, like if little Johnny sneezed on it or something kind of thing. Before we get too much further, I do need to actually start our yeast. We're using Fleischmann's Active Dry Yeast, a whole packet. Bread yeast has no more bread in it than wine yeast has wine in it. They're all Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is the type of yeast. Each yeast is bred for a slightly different thing. Is this the ideal way to use this yeast? Well, no. Does it make a good wine? Yeah.
Can you get it at the grocery store? Yeah.
We're also going to be using Welch's grape juice because the grapes that we have here is not enough, but we want to add some of the fresh table grape flavor to the Concord grape. I'm just putting in a splash to get our yeast going. I'm putting in stems, seeds, skins, and everything. It's 2 pounds, 10 ounces of grapes minus the stems. So I'm going to say it's like 2¼ pounds of grapes. Chronometer is awesome for doing this. It's a free app. They're not a sponsor or anything. 36 ounces of table grapes have 155 grams of sugar. So it's like 1/3 of a pound. So that's about 15 points. You know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. We're just going to use our gravity readings because I'm going to mash these grapes up a little bit. But I am adding some of our grape juice to give a liquid to this for the pasteurization process to be able to be fulfilled.
Now you might be asking, well, you're already using grapes. Why are you using grape juice as well? And the answer to that is simple. This way, we can have the full grapes, but still get all the grape flavor by adding grape juice and not worrying about over volumizing.
This needs to go on the stove right now, and I'm going to bring it up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. The Celsius will be right here for 1 minute. That's it, 1 minute. Then I'm going to put it in the sink, cool it down, and just sit the whole thing in some water. We're going to add the rest of our juice. But first, I need to show you something. Our yeast is making a foam dome. So this is what living yeast looks like when you hydrate it like this. That way you know your yeast is alive. Now, I release the pressure on that, and then I shake them up because there's goop in the bottom. The goop is the good stuff. This has dropped down in temperature to about 104 Fahrenheit. There'll be Celsius right here. I have here 2 64-ounce containers of the juice. I'm going to put the second one right into the fermenter, and here's why. If it's still too warm, I don't want to thermal shock the fermenter. We pasteurized the juice and the grapes together. The juice really didn't need it, but the grapes, we wanted to make sure that, you know, little Johnny sneezes aren't in there. We've killed everything that could be a problem. Now, let's get all the sugars and juices and good stuff out of them. This is the YouTube equivalent of a bunch of people in bare feet walking around on grapes. They're mashed up. They're in pieces now.
At this point, we need to determine if we have enough fermentable sugars in here to get the ABV that we want.
Right. I'm estimating we're probably at like the 1.050 to 1.060, which is a little bit low. I don't think the grapes are going to add significantly. Like I said, maybe 0.015 points. Yeah, it's 1.062. So we're going to add some sugar, 3 ounces, which is about 84 grams. Now I just want to mix it up. It's going to be made a little bit more difficult by all the grapes and stuff. Let's get another reading, but it's at 1.074. So what is 1.074 in potential alcohol? It's about 9%. Okay, this is our yeast. We're just going to dump that right in. Just use this and give it a little mixy mix. Then we're going to put the lid on it, and this is going to ferment until it's done. It's been 7 days. This sucker stopped after like 4 though. First thing you want to do when you take the lid off is give it a smell.
It smells like fermented grapes.
Smells like wine, yeah. And the visual inspection, it looks fine. I see a lot of grapes in there. Let me show you what it looks like. So yeah, when you look inside, I mean, you can see the grapes puffed up and everything like that. I have been swirling it so they are very moist. You want to keep doing that the whole time that there's fruit in there.
Perhaps perhaps it's a good time to do our first specific gravity reading.
I'm gonna say it finished. And ideally that's what you want. We've had a lot of people recently freak out because they made something and in 4 days the bubbling stopped and they're like, oh, should I dump it out and start again?
No, you should take a
you should
gravity
take
reading.
a gravity reading because it's probably just done. 0.996. We have fruit. It's only been sitting on it for a week. I want at least 2 weeks on the fruit. So because there's no need to rack it right away, we're not going to. We're going to let this go another week, maybe even 2 weeks. Okay, it's been another week. We were at 0.996 4 seconds ago when you last watched. But I want to do an olfactory and optical. I'm smelling fruit now. There was a slight sulfur smell last week.
It's
and
like
it's gone.
fruit.
That's a beautiful color. Believe it or not, it went down. 0.994. One thing I want to do though is also calculate our ABV. So we start at 1.074 minus 0.994, which is what we're at now. 80 points of gravity spent, if you will, times 135 gives us 10.8% ABV. All right, so we have our wide mouth 1 gallon fermenter. And as always, we will be siphoning using an auto siphon. The end in the destination, this end in the source. And I'm leaving the cap on. That is not like just a protective cover that you throw away. Trust me, I learned that like a decade ago. It literally is a protective cover to keep some of the lees out so that you can go to the bottom. But to start, I go about halfway and then I get it going. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about waste in the bottom here. This is all of the fruits and the stems and the leaves. If we really wanted to, you could let this settle. You could try to get some more of that out and let it sit. If you must get that last cup or half cup of liquid out, then that's what you should do. For us, we're going to throw this in the compost and not worry about it. What's the next step for this?
It's going to sit.
Yeah, we're just going to put it back on the shelf, give it some more time to clear, and we'll be back in a couple of seconds to show you what it looks like. So it's been another week.
It's a beautiful color.
Smells like a combination of Concord and wine. Wow. It really did retain a lot of color and clarity. It's super clear. The smell, it's got so much fruitiness and richness to it. It's actually really impressive. What we're doing now is we're doing our adjustment taste. Okay, this is where we're going to sample it, live with it for a little bit, and decide if there's anything we need to do to it.
And before we even get into tasting it, we talked about it and we thought, okay, this could be a sweet red or this could be a dry red. And recently, both of us have really been appreciating dry reds.
Right.
So it's quite possibly done.
We did not add tannins to this. Normally we'll add tannins in the way of tea or wine tannin.
But we did leave
We did leave all the skins and stems.
And I
that
can
was
feel
such
that.
a good thing.
I can feel that.
There's a nice mouth pucker to this. I don't think I want to do anything to it.
All right.
I think it's good.
You know what that means?
It means we need to do our final tasting.
We got to change glasses. Pretty.
The color on this, the clarity, I'm giving this a 10 for color and clarity.
It's
just
beautiful. It's like a red purple. Like I'm seeing a slight bluish to the red.
But it's got a clarity to it that's really good. You can see light through it. I can see my finger through it.
Nice. It's nice.
On the smell, it is as if you took like a Cabernet or something and mixed it with a Concord grape.
Yep.
It really is.
It is.
Which is interesting. Some people might call it sacrilegious. I don't know, but I actually rather like it. I like Concord grape and Concord grape wine. Some people don't.
And I think if you allow yourself to experience the full spectrum and not get stuck with, oh, I'm a Cabernet person or whatever, then maybe you'll find some appreciation in something that you weren't expecting.
I know we're like intellectualizing a grocery store wine.
Yeah, I am getting a little bit, I had to search for it, but I am getting a little bit of the chocolate coffee combo. It's neither chocolate nor coffee.
It's deep down in there,
just
but it's there.
something like that.
It's got a really nice viscosity, good mouth pucker.
The tannins simply from the grapes themselves, their skins and their stems work perfectly in this.
Beautiful job.
I'm really impressed with that. And it shouldn't be a shock to me because that's how
That's how wine was made.
producible
Yeah, they just took the bunches of grapes.
That's what they do.
Cleaned them.
That's
Stomped on them with their feet, you know.
what they do.
Little toe jam in there. I think as a table wine, this is spectacular
Right.
for a table wine. Just something to serve with a meal, you know, family and friends getting together kind of thing.
Which is really impressive. You know, just go to the grocery store, buy some stuff, and throw it in a jar. I am really looking forward to trying this again in a year.
Oh, yeah. In a year, this will be.
And sharing that experience with you.
As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.